Hi guys, Adam here as per usual, and thanks again for checking out another FAQ Friday. This is a question that people have asked me in the past. I can't remember any specific examples, and it's a question that just kind of crops up on a day-to-day basis. I'm sure amongst many of you guys as well, you probably asked yourself this. And the question is, do boutique pedals, do boutique gear, does boutique gear, is it really any better than sort of off-the-shelf factory-made stuff? That depends on two things. Firstly, you need to define the word boutique. And secondly, you need to define the word better. Boutique tends to mean kind of expensive, but it also to me tends to mean kind of family run and family orientated, or like a one-man band. So boutique to me would be something that's of very, very high quality, and you're going to pay for that quality, so it's going to be quite expensive, but it's also going to be probably one, two, half a dozen guys sat in sort of a basement or in a laboratory or something somewhere, kind of making the gear, okay, in a shop, in a workshop making the gear, just a handful of guys. Better is a tough one to define, because better is of course subjective. You can't really be objective about it. Now you can be objective about things such as quality, workmanship and reliability, okay. All of those tend to fall under the category of better, but tonally better is very subjective. For example, one of my favourite chorus units of all time, the Arion SEH1, the black box version that I've got on my board, a lot of people would say that is not better in terms of workmanship, in terms of quality, etc. I think that when those pedals came out, they were cheap, you know what I mean? I think they're more expensive now than they were when they came out in the 80s. So you're not looking at something boutique. They were mass made in a factory in Japan. The components are probably alright. They're not going to be the highest quality components. They're going to be average, everyday components. It's made out of plastic, for God's sake. On the surface, it's not that reliable and it's not that high quality a unit. Yet the tone it produces is magical. It's absolutely high quality tone. It's brilliant tone. It is better tone to me than many chorus units that cost £200–300. Now we come down to the question, is it worth the money? Well, that depends on you. As someone who really only has music as not only my hobby and interest, but also as kind of a part-time job as well, then absolutely I don't mind spending money on equipment, on gear, on music, and I don't particularly enjoy spending money on clothes, spending money on doing up my car, that kind of thing. We spend money on what our hobbies are, what our passions are. So if you have a real passion for music, for guitar and for great tone, then like me, you're not going to mind spending the coin. However, I'm also not an idiot. I don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money. For example, I would never really want to buy an original Klon Centaur pedal. I think that is completely over the top. It's gone too far, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I would pay 3 times that for something like a Dytronics or Dyno My Piano true tri-stereo chorus CS5 unit, something like that. I would pay £1,500 if I had £1,500, £1,500 or so for that unit, because it kind of suits my tastes. So it all depends on what your tastes are. The more we move forward, technology gets cheaper and cheaper to produce, and there's factories churning out really great products, be that guitars, pedals, racks, amps, cabs, speakers, picks, whatever you want. There are companies out there mass producing these in factories in China for cheap as chips. You can buy them as cheap as chips and they're absolutely fantastic. And at the same time, there'll be guys like myself who experiment away sort of in their basement or in the shed somewhere, creating sort of some really awesome pedals as well. And it just depends on you. If you're willing to pay for that tone, absolutely it's worth the money. Guys, that's really all I've got to say on that. Post your comments and questions and suggestions below as usual. And as ever, thanks for checking out the video, and see you next Friday for another FAQ.